Why, hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we have a black class review for you of the Reate Epoch. Alright guys, so I'm going to try a little bit different style. I think I can kind of condense my format so you guys aren't relegated to watching a 20-minute review. I'm going to start right out with the specifications, the size comparisons, and then go into the knife. I think that that's going to help me from having to double back and repeat myself again. So, without further ado, let's get you guys some specifications. Some specs on this bad boy. Let you take a look at it first. Obviously, that's why we're here, right? Kind of switching it up on you guys. You guys are like, what? Yeah, this thing's freaking sweet. So it's a little bit of a monster as far as weight. So in your pocket, this thing's coming in at 5.55 ounces, almost at that 6-ounce mark. Now, it doesn't, I can tell you right now, it's not really getting that blade length to weight ratio down, but that's not what makes this guy bad or good. This thing is awesome, by the way. So far the length is coming in at just over 8¼ inches. The blade stock thickness, yeah, relatively thick in Reate fashion, coming in at just about 1.55 or 1.5 or 150 thousandths. The behind the edge isn't the greatest. It's coming in down here at about 28 thousandths. Let's check the tip. Let's make sure that we're doing this right. And 25 thousandths towards the tip. Let me double check back here. Alright, yeah, so it's about 30 thousandths and 25 thousandths behind the edge. So you're not getting the best slicer. And I can tell you, I did notice that when using it, it doesn't make it to the point where it's like not fun to use because, I mean, let's be honest, we'll gut through some bad slicing. Not bad, let me correct that. We'll gut through something that feels good in hand and sacrifice a little bit of sliceability. That maybe gave up a little bit too much. So the overall thickness in your pocket's coming in at 0.55 or 555 thousandths, a little bit more than the average, but that's where this thing's awesome. And you'll see that later as we start talking about it. So this is coming in at 100 or 1.3 inches tall. So to put that into perspective, your PM2 is at a 1.6, your PM3 is coming in at 1.66, and your Manix 2 is coming in at 1.74. Let's get you guys some size comparisons, and then we will talk about this guy. And actually, there's a couple size comparisons. Because this is a higher level knife, I think it deserves a little bit higher level size comparisons. Here's your Reate Model 1 and Reate Model 2. Let us get out maybe some of its competition here. It's your Reate Model 1 and Reate Model 2. As you can see, it's just about the same size as the Reate Model 1. So, you know, those of you that think the Reate Model 1 is the perfect size knife, you're really going to like this. This is kind of chunky, and actually it has a lot of the same qualities in a good way as the Reate Model 1. Here we have the Reate, the Civivi Brazen and the Civivi Elementum. As you can see, the Brazen's slightly smaller, the Elementum's coming in at much smaller. I am going to skip the Feldspar sandwich today so I don't show you 10 different size comparisons. Move right along to the Spyderco sandwich. Making its first appearance on the size comparisons today is the Shaman in XHP and your Spyderco Sage 5. As you can see, this knife's slightly longer than the Shaman, and it's just as beefy. So those of you that like the Shaman, I think you're going to like this guy. Last but not least, these aren't really good size comparisons. These are good competitor comparisons here. So we have the Hinderer Skinny Sheep's Foot, and we have the Wii Synergy 2. The reason I picked both of these is because these are two knives that I have that are a similar price point. This being 425 bucks, this being 425 bucks, excluding the scales. And this one coming in at close to like 320 or something, depending on the sale price. So thickness, as you can see, this is much thicker than the Wii Synergy. Come on, buddy, focus. much thicker than the Wii Synergy. And it's going to be slightly thicker. Well, looks much thicker than the Hinderer XM18 Skinny. Keep in mind, that's a Skinny. That is not the full-size Hinderer. This is a Skinny. And overall length, the Wii Synergy is just about the same. And the Hinderer, they're both really, really close. So the reason I'm showing you guys all these is this is some of its competition that you have. I'm not going to compare the competition or say one's better than the other. Not why I'm showing you. I'm just kind of showing you stuff that's in the same price range. All right, now we can start talking about this guy. Let me know if you guys like this format. I want to get the specs out of the way and just kind of free flow afterwards. So let's start off with this blade. This is a simple drop point. Yeah, it's a drop point. We have a 204P with a very nice stonewash finish going on here. Yes, if you guys are noticing, before I got this in the secondhand market. Somebody put a mirrored edge on that. So it looks pretty sweet. I didn't do it. It didn't come like that to my knowledge, just throwing that out there. We have a swedge that runs the full length of the blade, and then a flat grind that comes up about 2/3 on the way down. A nice little sharpening choil there, and done by Reate, so it is done damn near perfect. Coming from that plunge guide where the plunge guide ends, the sharpening choil ends. That's very nice. We have some light jimping that I guess it's almost not functional because I don't feel it when I'm doing this. I do have rough hands. Maybe some of you with more delicate hands, it might kind of sit in there. My calluses just kind of roll right over that though. The tip, that's what I was going for. I had a brain fart for a second. The tip is freaking robust, guys. This is the Spyderco Shaman on your right, and that is the Reate Epoch on your left. I mean, this Epoch is coming in real thick. This is going to be one hell of a knife that you are going to be able to just crush on, and it is built to crush. This blade steel is 204P, similar to M390 and 20 CV. As you can see here, we have model 360 out of 400, and I believe that's just for this color. They make several different colors of this, so the grays, I don't know. I don't think they make a black. They make a clean. Anyways, there's several different colors. So this is one of 400 of the blue, which I'm assuming. This is on a multi-row bearing system, so it makes this so damn smooth and so damn snappy. Just listen. Oh, man, that is nice. Now, if you look inside here, kind of starting to dig into it, you can see the multi-row bearings right there. You see kind of like the blue bearing housing. And then it's got these, I'm going to call them internal external stops. I consider internal stops to be like a track that's cut into the blade itself where that pin runs inside. I call the ones that are sitting on the outside that could double as thumb studs external. Well, these do neither, but it does basically have the external premise where it sits in the housings on both sides, and it prevents any side to side. This blade is locked up so very, very nicely. So we're going to call those IE stops, internal external stops, coined. You heard it first here on EEDC. Just letting you guys know. All right. Yeah, kind of getting over myself here for a second. This flipper tab is non-obtrusive. It's a little big, but it's perfect. I mean, to get in there, the way that they cut this out up here, you can really just kind of rest and go. It feels really nice to flip. There is a little bit of jimping, but just like the jimping on the spine of the blade, it's not going to wear your fingers in too bad. I mean, it's pretty light. It does give enough traction when you're flipping it, though, more so than the spine of the blade for kind of comfort right here. It serves more of a function on the flipper tab here. Going into the titanium scales, and I apologize if I'm out of breath. I just got done cutting the yard. I got to run the dog to the vet after this. So I'm like running all over the place. I'm trying to catch my breath, but I realize I'm like running out of breath. It's ridiculous. Somebody needs to start working out again or something. What the hell? But these are titanium scales, and I'm not even going to call this chamfering. Somebody help me out with what this terminology might be. This looks more like scalloping kind of all around the edges because it starts and it goes so deep into the actual center of the frame itself. So I'm not going to call it chamfering, but it's kind of like a chamfer where it's that similar sideways cut, except for right here where it's definitely a scallop. And this could be considered scalloped all the way down. But it's just a really shallow, long cut. So I'm going to stick with the 3D milling. I don't want to be generic, but these are 3D milled and they feel like it. They feel really, really nice. Going over to this side, it has the same things going on here. You have the relief cut. That's just pretty generic. It's a little bit of a sharp spot, but you never felt it until I just pointed it out, so just ignore that I said that. You do have a pocket clip going on here with a ceramic ball at the end for the clip, like for the ramp in and out of your pants. You know, we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a cool look. It's a cool design. I have some issues with it, though. Then we have a nice little cutout in the clip. The clip looks fine. I think it looks pretty good. Getting on around to the back, we have a back spacer going on right here with some heavy jimping that you do feel, but once again, it's like smooth. It's weird. It's definitely apparent. It's definitely visible. But in your hand, you're like, I mean, this feels good. It doesn't feel like it's going to tear you up. I can do this all day. Nothing. I mean, it's weird. We do have a hidden lanyard hole right there. I love that. I love the hidden lanyard posts. I love the hidden lanyard holes. I love the fact that they give you the option to put a lanyard on there and hide it, because most of us don't use lanyards. And I can't say that because a lot of knives that I've traded for and stuff, like people have sent them in with a lanyard. So I think more people use lanyards than reviewers would let you believe. That's just a side note. All right, so let's check this hardware real quick. Get you guys a quick reference of how big this is. This hardware is relatively big. What did I just try out there? This looks like a T6. Yeah, T6. Should have had this ready. I thought about having it ready, and then I did not think about having it ready. Here's a T10. So the pivot's definitely a T10. These body screws are going to be T8. The pocket clip screw is going to be T8, and same thing with the detent insert right there is also going to be a T8. There are no T6 on me. That's very, very nice. We like that. One thing I didn't mention here is there is an over travel stop with a stainless steel insert. The lockup's coming in right at about 30 or 40%. That's really nice, and it's really nicely locked up. The action, multi-row bearings, so damn smooth. This thing is awesome. One thing I want to compare this to before I go on to my likes, my dislikes, and kind of end this. By the way, this is coming in at 425 bucks. And before we compare it, let's show you guys this. This does have a ton of milling on the inside here. There you go. Whoa. Come on, light. Focus. There you go. A ton of milling on the inside to relieve some weight. And in doing so, it is still balanced a little bit further back. So this, as you can tell, this is definitely a handle heavy knife, which allows for a massive, massive comfort in hand feel. But I'm assuming that if you were to use this for a long time, which I didn't have the opportunity to have a ton of work to do with it. I did use it, but I didn't have long periods of use with it. I found that a better balance actually helps you use the knife for a longer period of time. But I don't know the relevance or the percentage that starts to outweigh with ergonomics and whatnot. Ergonomics on this thing are absolutely phenomenal. This feels great. If I didn't mention the Timascus or Makути inlay, there it is. And the cool thing is when I actually wrap my paws around this, I grab that and it adds for even better traction in this. This, it's so weird, is freaking functional to me. My fingers wrap around and kind of just like sit on the lip on the other side of this, like securing the knife in hand. Very, very cool. Very nice. I love that design. All right. So I'm going to have to do an overlay because I don't have one of these present. What I want to show you is, you guys saw my top 10 favorite Civivis. You guys are going to be like, what the shit? Where are you going with this? Number 2 was the Civivi Backlash. Okay? And it was my number 1 for the longest time. At right here, I am going to show you a Civivi Backlash overlay. And you could see how similar somebody, I'm not going to say stole a design from one or the other, but let's just say somebody probably liked one design and took some of the design elements and implemented it in there, because I can't see it in front of me, but you guys are going to be able to tell. This Backlash and this have so many similar traits. Realistically, what I'm trying to point out here is, if you like the Backlash, you're going to love the Reate Epoch. I'll give you a couple more seconds of looking at it. All right, you're done. Okay, so let's get into my likes, my dislikes, and my wants when it comes to this knife. First and foremost, likes. I love the ergonomics and the solidity in hand. This thing feels, one thing I didn't kind of mention throughout, and this goes into what I just said, is this is a backspacer. Tell me where the seams are. The only place that you can really tell that there's seams are right there. Let's see if you guys can see it. Get you guys a flashlight, 'cause the closer I get, the less. Right there. That's the only place that I can tell that there are seams. It almost, at first I was like, is this thing a freaking integral? Like, this is so just solid in hand. With those internal stops, the blade locks up so solid. And when it goes, you can feel the knife is solid, so you get this solid twang. Yeah, I mean, this thing is just phenomenal. Everything about the Reate Epoch in hand feels great. The last couple things we want to really hit on is I really like the blade shape. I'm not a huge drop point fan, but this narrow, light belly drop point where it kind of looks a little bit more stabby, even though I don't like the stabby knives, I prefer this over, like, I really like my Malice. The broken tip. I already sharpened it once. I might be taking this off and kind of doing like a reverse Tonto thing with it. I don't know. But I like this blade shape. Now, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to have a long, slender handle, I think this looks really, really nice and classy. I think that the look of this knife, the lines of this knife look really, really good. The last that's really cool is this Makudi inlay, or Makudi, or Timascus. Makudi's just a type of Timascus, just for those of you that don't know. It kind of boils down to that. I'm sure it changes, or the process changes, but realistically, it's both just like a Timascus-ish. Might be just a branding. But anyways, this actually feels so good in hand. I know it looks beautiful, but my favorite part about it is, actually, I'm not a huge, like, gaudy guy. Like, so these knives that cost $3,000 that are all Timascus, I want to touch them, but I never want to use them, you know? So I see this, and I'm like, oh, shit, I don't know. But then I get it, and I'm like, oh, that has a function. You can replace that with, like, a rubber thing, and it would be even better for me. It's going to sound stupid, but, yeah, that's really, really nice. Dislikes. First and foremost, I mean, I know what they did. They made a super solid handle, but the balance is so far back, and you can tell. I mean, in hand, yeah, you can definitely tell that this is a heavy handle, and they did everything that they could to relieve it on the inside. I mean, they cut everything out. They just made such a beefy freaking boy that it just, you know, maybe if you would have done some extra milling, kind of like a floating backspacer with some intricate designs there, you might have been able to take away some of that, because this is a pretty big backspacer. But in doing that, that's probably going to cost you an extra 25 to 50 bucks on top of the already $425 price. So the balance isn't one of my favorites. And then last, I told you guys I'd get back to this, the ceramic ball here. Now let's see if I can demonstrate this on camera. If you wear thinner style pants, such as, let's call it basketball shorts. This is almost the same thickness as your pocket for the basketball shorts. You guys see that? I didn't even have to pick it up. Ah, damn, I gotta stop cussing. I didn't even have to pick it up. So it just slides right out, which, okay, that's a double-edged sword. You want it to be pocket friendly. You want it to go in and out of your pocket easily, but I don't want it to fall out of my pocket. I am actually fearful of using this knife, and I always wear basketball shorts, guys. It's summer, I'm a little bit overweight, and I gotta freaking, you know, be comfortable, you know what I mean? So I wear basketball shorts. Even when you're working out and stuff, right? You're wearing basketball shorts. Not that you'd have the knife in your pocket when you're doing some workout stuff, but here's 2 pieces of lint-free cloth in there. Ready? Like, it's just, that doesn't seem right to me. And for my own freaking sanity, you guys are going to see it, and this will tell you whether or not I'm crazy. I've never done this before. That's a Hinderer pocket clip. You can't drop it, right? This one, with 2 pieces of lint-free cloth, I slide it in there, and it comes right out. That was off camera, but you guys get the point, right? Let's go into, I'll show you another one, because this is rare. This is unique that I get this feeling. So here is the wee Malice. I'm jostling it around, and it is not going anywhere. And these aren't hard to get in and out of your pocket, okay? So when I talk about dislikes here, this is one of mine. This kind of scares me. It looks cool, but listen. Even the tension's not perfect, because it's not a full, you know, the pocket clip tension on this, you probably could take that off and do a little bend, but then it would look a little wonky. I love the design for aesthetics here, but I don't like the function. I am actually freaking out that that's going to fall out of my pocket. This is $400. Guys, if you had a $20 bill fall out of your pocket, you're freaking out. You're like, what the F is my 20? Well, this is 425 bucks. Would you not be freaking out? On these higher class knives, I would really prefer to see something a little bit more substantial. Now, I'm going to test it against one more. I know you guys, this is for myself and not you guys, really. This is the Wee Bullet. Now, I love the Wee Bullet. I think this thing's awesome. But this has a wheel to go in and out of your pocket, which it's not even letting me go in. That does the same thing. And I have the same issue with this, but that's with one. Let's try two, right? Because two is a little bit more, yeah. We'll even try three to see if it like can simulate the effect of jeans, right? All right, so in. So that does fall, but it at least picks up. That shows you that that wheel that spins is better than that. That's already coming out, guys. That will fall out of your pocket. This wheel is rotating, and it did pick up a little bit, doing the same motion, right? I know you guys are like, this is getting boring. You're harping on this, but to me, it's a huge deal because we pay so much money for our knives, and to have them just fall out of your pocket is just not acceptable. All right, so here's 3 lint-free cloths. This picks up, but I can shake it out. All right, let's see what we're doing here. And these are pretty thick. These are Wee or Civivi. They feel thicker than normal. I feel like they amped up their thickness. Sorry, I'm making small talk while I flatten these out so that they go in there. Right. I promise I'll let you guys go soon, for those of you that are still here. So same thing, right? That's your jeans, guys. That's just about as thick as your jeans, maybe slightly thinner. I can still, get out of here. I can still pick it up and it falls right off. That is a serious concern for me, and I'm not happy about that. I love the fact that you're trying something new, but I don't need it to get in and out of my pocket easier as long as you're not like super gluing it to my pocket like some knives. All right, I'm done with that. Once. All right, so my only want is fix this freaking pocket clip. That's the only want. This knife is so good in hand. The blade is so cool. It looks classy. It looks awesome, but it's still manly in hand. It just, everything about this, the lockup, the solidity is great. Please just fix the pocket clip. That is all I got for you guys today. This is my review of the Reate Epoch. Ironically, I started with the specs and the size comparisons, and I took longer, so maybe I don't do that anymore. But my name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking day, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is my Patreon. This is my Instagram, everydayedc_77. We'll do a special shout out to all the Patreons: John K, Sammy, Eggs and Ham, Jason M, Dogtooth, Kaiba, Mickey, Wolf, and Captain Steve. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great friggin' day.